Hello everybody. In this video I'll be talking about the area of a parallelogram. Notice here we have on the right side the formula for the area of a rectangle. A equals length times width. And look how similar it is to the area of a parallelogram, which is area equals base times height. It's important to know when you're figuring out the formula for area of a parallelogram that you always have to measure the height at a 90-degree angle off of the base. Okay, so this has to be a 90-degree angle. So you cannot measure the height on the diagonal. So what happens, or why are these formulas so similar? Well, if you take this parallelogram here and cut off the side and move it over to this side, you'll see that we essentially have the same shape as this over here. We have a rectangle. And the formula, base, B, comes from the L over here, and the height, H, comes from the W over here. So these are essentially the same shape if you cut them up that way. So let's look at this parallelogram here. Keep in mind that you always have to measure a height off a 90-degree angle from the base. In this case, we actually have to bring in kind of an imaginary square, edge of a square here, an imaginary line that has a 90-degree angle to check out what the height is. The reason for that is because the length of this side, I'll bring over a ruler here, the length of this side, which is about a little over 7, is totally different than the length of the height here, which is about 4.5, so quite a bit less. So keep in mind that this length is not always going to be the same distance as this height, and so you have to measure the height a 90-degree angle off of the base. Now in this case, so let's say you're given a problem where it gives a number here like 7, and then it gives a number here like 2, and then it also has an imaginary line here, or an imaginary part of a triangle, and it gives you a number like 5 right here. Okay, don't be fooled by this 7 over here. That is not the height. Okay, remember we're looking for area equals base times height, and so we say the area of this shape is going to be 2 times 5, or 10 square units, whatever those units have to be. So the height of a parallelogram doesn't always have to come off an imaginary line from the side. It could also be inside the shape, as long as we know that it's 90 degrees off of the base. So it might look something like this. As long as it has a perpendicular line to the base, that means a 90-degree angle off the base, that is going to be the height. So this might be 6, and this might be 3, and this might be 7. Just make sure that your area formula is base times height and not base times side, because the side means nothing when you're doing the area of a parallelogram. Alright, thanks for watching.